Let me just read out the results. Revenue increasing for the full year by 3% to 23.6 billion rand, and EBITDA decreasing 7% to 1.946 million. Give us your views on the overall performance for the full year. Of course, we see revenue slightly higher, and then of course that profit coming back by 7%.
Yeah, I think it was a mixed bag for us this year. Our three operating companies, Altec, Bytes and PowerTech. Bytes, really good performance on the IT side. But some problems and challenges that we faced, particularly in our Africa businesses for Altec and our Iberia business for PowerTech.
Before we look forward, because we know about the problems that the business has been facing in East and West Africa right now, just give us an idea of the type of impairments that you've had to take on these assets in Africa. Yeah,
we had to take fairly significant impairments through the Altec books. So they released their results a couple of weeks back, and we basically impaired the goodwill that we held in West Africa, and we've announced that that business has been put up for sale, and we're in the process of that right now. Not so much a lack of confidence in the region, more the nature of business that we're in. And then in East Africa, we had to take significant impairments of around 500 million relating to writing down the remaining goodwill and some of the asset value at that operation.
This really highlights the fact that although Africa is a very attractive investment destination and there's a lot of opportunity, it's a tough space to be doing business. What would be some of the key lessons that the group has learned as a result of these kind of investments going a little bit wrong?
Yeah, I think the first point is that Africa is a more challenging market. Yes, great potential for growth and great opportunities and growing economies, much faster growing than the other parts of the world, but it brings unique challenges, and a lot of those are regional challenges. I think the knowledge of local markets is very important. It's something that we've certainly learnt. You try to gain that by having partners in those markets, but that doesn't always work. And then I think, you know, just the way of doing business and the way of operating in Africa. You know, if you're operating in a publicly listed company environment and you've got high standards, sometimes as a result of that, you turn your back on certain opportunities. But that's not something that we're prepared to compromise on.
Let's focus in on Iberia as well, because the PowerTech division, also a case of revenue increasing 6% and the EBITDA falling back by 7%, coming in at 500 million rand. What are you doing to rectify the business situation in Iberia right now?
Yeah, so we have a business in Portugal and one in Spain, probably two of the most troubled markets in the Euro zone right now. The main position that we're taking there is that we need to expand our customer bases beyond those two economies. So we've had some success going into British Telecom for fibre optic cables and copper cables, and also into France Telecom. And we need to continue that diversification because there's been a fundamental shift in demand patterns in those two countries with the austerity programs that are going on.
What is the outlook then for PowerTech right now, given the fact that, as you say, the situation is ongoing, and we've just seen how the elections in France and elections in Greece have shook the markets once again. So what is the outlook for PowerTech in the next year?
Fortunately, that's a smaller part of our overall business. So we're quite optimistic in terms of some of the recovery signs we're seeing in other sectors that are more important to PowerTech, such as the infrastructure area, where some of our customers are really starting to spend some money in that area, gradual improvement in the building and construction industry. Those macro factors are going to at least help PowerTech to have good growth opportunities in the remainder of their businesses. We don't see Iberia turning around overnight. That's a long, hard slog. Fortunately, it's not a key part or a core part of our business in terms of size.
Moving over to Altec, we have mentioned Altec, but Altec Netstar, really a star performer once again, 30% growth, beating your expectations. Are you going to be using Netstar to expand into Africa? Because expansion has been slow. So what has been the problem there, and and are you going to address the way that you have been moving this part of the business into the continent?
Yeah, I think Netstar is one of those unique businesses where South Africa globally is competitive based on some of the track record we've had with stolen vehicles in this country. So we own all of the IP in that business, and we certainly see that as an opportunity to expand on a global basis. We have made various ventures into Africa, working not only on a stolen vehicle recovery side, but also fleet management for some of the mining companies. We'll continue that, but there's a real opportunity for us to globalize Netstar and to use all of that IP that's locally owned and developed in a global context.
If we look at where you see Altec as a core part of course, Altron right now, if you look at where you see Altec, say, in 5 years' time, what are you hoping that business looks like in terms of key revenue and profit generators?
Yeah, I think that there will be a bit of a shift. Our two main profit contributors there for the last couple of years have been Altec Netstar and Altec Autopage. Those are both businesses that performed well again this year, but they're in maturing markets in the South African context. So we would need to tap into, particularly Netstar, into more emerging markets that have got greater growth opportunities. And then also there's quite a big shift in the market right now moving towards the insurance market, moving towards telematics, where basically you can provide the technology to allow insurance companies to determine your driver behavior for the individual. Do you speed? Do you use the brakes too much? Do you drive in crime areas, etc.? And then basically the insurance company is able to tailor your premium based on your risk profile, whereas today that's not possible. So we see a big shift to the market in that direction as well.
And are you building capacity clearly in that space?
We are, and it's growing quite rapidly. We're doing about 1,000 new subscribers a month on the telematics product, and we're looking to hopefully double that subscription rate by the end of the year. And we've also signed a global transaction joint venture relationship with a company called Octo Telematics, the world leader in this particular area out of Italy.
You've made 2 acquisitions during the period, very quickly, Iyenza and Set1 GmbH. Could you just walk us through how these acquisitions are going to be incorporated into the group going forward into 2013? Yeah,
Iyenza is a relatively small acquisition we made, and that's on the mobile payments platform, and that'll be incorporated into our Altec IT division. And on Set1, that's a German set-top box service provider, and that'll be incorporated into our UEC multimedia division.